Hello everybody, Jane here. Thanks for stopping by. I am going to color Mr. Bruno here. And I'm going to show you that you don't need 4,000 markers to do it. I'm taking a light shade of brown and a medium shade of brown. I know that some of you are new to coloring and it could be overwhelming. And I'm here to tell you, just relax. Don't worry about it, okay? Just start. Just do it. Use what you have and enjoy it. Relax, have fun, and do not compare yourself to other people's coloring. Don't do it. If I see that you're doing it, if I hear it, I'm coming after you. Anyways, I put down my first layer of color. You see, very messy. I mean, it's not, I'm not worried about it. And I'm not going right up to the stamped lines because, with markers, the more you're coloring, the more you're blending. If you get carried away, that color will start to spread. And then you got to start all over. But anyways, I then take my darker shade and then I go into those bits and bobs and places where I want there to be more shading, more, a darker color, and then go back to my light. And you're just going, it's ping pong, tennis. You're just going back and forth, back and forth. And if you find that your paper is getting too wet, you're worried that colors, stop. Stop and go color his hat, go color the plant, and then come back. But don't wait too long either, because if that paper is super dry, the colors, the marker, the ink dried out too much, then it's going to be a little bit tricky. So just give it a couple of seconds. Take a drink, get a drink of water. And I'm going to also show you that pencil crayons, you need to have them, okay? Because you could add darker shades, shading, textures, little cute details with these pencil crayons. And don't worry, if you don't have the, the best pencil crayons, the quality ones, don't worry about it. For years, I'm talking like up till a couple of months ago, I've been using my kids, my sons, my youngest, pencil crayons that he uses for school, and it's fine. So don't worry about it. But my tip here with pencil crayons is that is the thing that you will use last. I mean, you're done with your marker coloring. You're not going to color with the markers anymore. You're done. Because if you try to go back and color with your markers on top of the pencil crayon, it's going to look a little bit weird, because the pencil crayons do leave a little residue, so you can't, it won't work. So, and also make sure that the ink paper is dry before you start adding your little details with your pencil crayons. So as you can see, I mean, it's back and forth. It's back and forth. Maybe a little bit too much back and forth. I could get carried away sometimes. I don't know. But yeah, so Mr. Bruno here is a part of the Plant Nursery stamp set, 6x8 stamp set, my new release. And in the stamp set is Rosie on her bicycle and Mabel. And Mabel is based on my mama. And so I'm moving on to the hat because I already, I need to let Bruno dry up a little bit. So here I'm starting with the dark shade, and that really doesn't matter. It's actually a preference. Sometimes I'll start with my lighter shade and then, go to the darkest, or sometimes I'll start with the darkest to the lightest. It doesn't matter. It's what you prefer. I go back and forth. Again, as you can see, it's just back and forth. I added the darker colors on the rim, around the ears a little bit, wherever I think there would be some shade, And again, I don't worry about it too much. And you will see, I will go over all of it with some pencil crayons. The hat, Bruno, did I call him Boris? I don't know. He's Bruno, he's not Boris before. But anyways, I'm doing my final layer of markers and realized that I took the wrong shade. I wanted the lighter shade, but it doesn't matter. It still looks good. I'm just going to take my lighter shade and continue. And what I usually do is, the last step is I'll take my blender shade. You know that blender one. It's no color. It's like it erases the color. And I will just go into those places where I want it to be the lightest. But I kind of forgot here, and I did it at the end, which it turned out fine. But, it could be a problem if if you do that. But anyways, final finishing touches on Mr. Bruno here. And he never, takes his hat off. And where do you think where the inspiration came for this Mr. Bruno? Paddington Bear. I love Paddington Bear. So, moving on to the plant. Here are my 2 shades of green. Same thing happening here. Putting down the color where I think I want it to be the darkest, pretty much. And then going in with the darker shade on top of that. And then going in with my lighter shade and then, coloring the whole thing. And then and it's just back and forth, people. It's back and forth. So, Mabel, I was saying, yes, Mabel is based on my mama. And my mother has a green thumb. This woman, we had plants all over the place. It was a jungle. We had neighbors bring her their dead plant. Like it was just, pitiful plant. Leave the plant with my mother. Come back in a week. Couldn't even recognize their own plant anymore. This is full of life. I don't know what she did. I know that she named our plants. I don't know if that's, the ticket there. She named them. But here I'm going to color in the plant pot. And I'm going to do this only with one shade. I swatched it there. Now, it's all about layering, people. Layering. So I'm going to color in the part that I want to be darkest. Color that in, give it a few seconds to dry. Not fully, but just to dry a little bit. Going in to do the schnoz. Coming back on top of this plant pot. And I'm going to do that a couple of times. And then I'm going to take that color that I used for the plant and just, color the whole thing. But I'm going to leave it a bit to dry now. And I'm taking my brown pencil crayons. I'm just giving it a little swatch. Now I'm going to make sure they're sharpened. And I'm going in to all these little places, where I want there to be some shade or a little bit darker places. And like I said, pencil crayon is perfect because you can sharpen up, sharpen the tips up real good and you could get into those little tight spaces. And the trick is that just to have a light hand when you're coloring. Don't go in strong. Don't when we're little, you're coloring with the crayons, like practically broke the crayons coloring. You're just pressing that crayon onto that paper, getting all that, kindergarten rage out. But anyways, I loved my kindergarten teacher. It was joy. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I'm going in with the pencil crayon. You see I'm going around the schnoz, adding a little bit of dimension. I'm going in with the lighter pencil crayon. I'm just doing that again. It's back and forth. And you're going to see in a minute, I'm going to add some cute little lines on Bruno, like to add a little kind of like fur, texture. And here we go. This is my favorite part. My favorite part of coloring is adding these little details with the pencil crayons because it it changes the whole image. It's like they come to life to me. But yeah, my mother, like I was saying, she named her plants, and just thinking about it, I realized that they all pretty much had like Italian names. And you know, if you've been following me for a long time, you'll know that I grew up in an area that it was like 98% Italians. And I grew up with them, and it was wonderful. And that could be the reason, because I specifically remember two plants. They were huge. One was named Luigi and the other one was Giuseppe. So, okay, so you see with that gray, I went and I colored the whole thing, and now I'm going back again and just layering. And you see how that side of the pot is lighter. And I only used one color, okay? So don't worry about it. But I will use a pencil crayon to add some texture to that pot as well. Now I'm moving on to the plants. And I'm going to add, I don't really have the green, the shade green that I wanted. I wanted a more of an olive, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, you use what you have and you make it work, and it'll be good. Don't let that be the reason, like, oh, I got to get all the bits and bobs and then I'll start coloring. No, color with what you have. So I'm just going in and, yeah, adding little darker, shading to the dark spots, lighter, I mean, I've repeated myself over and over. I think you get it. So I think I'm going to also use that darker green on the hat. Yes, I am. And I'm using such a light. Do you see how I changed the position of how I'm holding it? My hand is even further back, and I've got it on an angle because I am just lightly, it's like I'm dusting that color onto the hat. And it adds such a beautiful texture. It's almost like you could see that it's like a material, wool material. But got to sharpen up those pencil crayons. I think I'm gonna go into the schnoz area. I think I'm gonna just spruce up those eyeballs. And Bruno, look at how wonderful Bruno is. And yes, so I'm adding with my gray some lines, vertical lines, a little bit of texture on that pot, going in a little bit. Added a little bit more shading around the hand. And that's it, people. It really is just a matter of getting started. Do not fuss and worry about, do you have all the things you need? Use what you have. And you'll see what, the colors that you're drawn to. And have fun. And don't compare yourself to other people. Don't. Okay? Okay, bye.